Okay, why don't we go ahead and get started? And I'm going to start just with brief introductions, and then we do have a couple slides that we'll go through, and then we'll just really keep it open for your questions because our primary goal is not only to excite you about the program and encourage you to apply, but help you with that application process. As you know, the applications are open currently for both participants and faculty, so we'll have a few slides about the faculty role as well. And of course, we'll have time at the end for any questions. So I'm Mary Ellen Gussick. I'm one of the co-directors for the Advancing Pediatric Leaders. We fondly call it the APL program. And I'm a professor of pediatrics at MUSC. And I'll ask my co-director, Dr. Loyal, would you introduce yourself?
Yes, thanks, Mary Ellen. Hi, everyone. I'm also in service, so I apologize if I have to step out. Jaspreet Loyal. I'm a pediatric hospitalist at Yale. I've been part of the APL program for a few years now as faculty, and then most recently as co-director, and I've just really enjoyed being a part of the program. So I'm also very excited to share more about what we do.
Thank you. And Sonia.
Hi, I'm Sonia Hicks, and I am on the APA staff, and I support the APL program with Jaspreet and Mary Ellen.
Great. Well, thank you very much. I'll go ahead and share slides. And again, if you have questions during or at the end, whichever, we can be very flexible today. So on this slide, I want to also acknowledge that one of our faculty members who have been here since the beginning and who brings to the program one of the, I think, unique and distinct aspects of the program, Dr. Lane Schulte, serves as our lead faculty for coaching. So as I mentioned, we are recruiting cohort 4, which is a very exciting to really think back when this was just an idea that has come to what it is today. As you can see, this cohort will start in January of 2027 and go through December of 2028. So it's a 2-year program that starts with a calendar year start and goes through 2 PAS programs. For participants are expected to be 5 years at the role of assistant professor or who have achieved an associate professor title or level of advancement, and are engaging in a new or emerging leadership role. And please note that we use the word role intentionally because that doesn't mean a specific title of any kind, but rather taking on a leadership initiative. For anybody who may be interested in applying to be faculty, we have also an application process for to become faculty in the course. We're looking for people who are 5 years as an associate professor or at the professor level. And those who have experience not only in faculty development, but more specifically, some experience as well, if beyond faculty development in teaching related to leadership. Although from the very beginning, we've had a strong commitment, we have been working with the DEI committee to strongly emphasize that faculty leaders in health equity, community engagement, and inclusive excellence are strongly encouraged to apply for both the participant cohort as well as the faculty cohort. And we can talk a little bit about how we have incorporated being an inclusive leader in the program and how, again, we've been working with the chair, Tyler Smith of the DEI committee to look at how we can best address that within the context of the program. Okay. So the vision is to advance leaders to optimize child health, something that I think speaks to this program and aligns with the APA's mission, and that is the ultimate goal is to optimize child health by really building a leadership workforce. And so in designing the program, our mission was to deliver a nationally recognized professional development program that advances leadership competencies. And we've done a lot of work both at the initiation of the program and then iteratively using feedback from participants and faculty who have participated through the cohorts to really ensure that this is a program that's at the leading edge of teaching about leadership. And so we hope that the ultimate goal is that leaders are prepared not only to take on challenges within their institution, but they are able to lead locally, nationally, and regionally and within the APA. So the program objectives are outlined on this slide, and you can tell by the first, we're very competency-based, and the goal is to allow participants to apply the competencies that they're developed during the program, as you'll hear a little bit more, but also more importantly in their day-to-day work as leaders. We've also incorporated coaching, and as you know, coaching is a very hot topic in education in general, but I do think this is one of the few leadership programs that incorporates coaching in the way that we do, because we incorporate it as a tool for the participants as well as the faculty's own professional development and help them to think about how to use coaching as an approach to their work as leaders. The other thing that we hope is that we are creating an opportunity for the participants to advance their work in their mission area of focus, and we'll talk a little bit more. And how we have intentional sessions during the program where we give participants an opportunity to increase their visibility, not only at home and think about that at home, but also within the APA and with other leaders of pediatrics around the country. And part of that, again, is through strengthening and having opportunities to strengthen your network as a resource. So it is a 2-year program, and it is an interactive hybrid curriculum. As I mentioned, it's a hybrid curriculum because we start in January, and so we have a monthly virtual curriculum that takes place in a 2-hour aliquots, if you will, where 1 or 2 leadership topics are addressed. There's typically some pre-work, but we are also very intentional to not overwhelm busy leaders, but to make the pre-work very meaningful for what we're going to actually accomplish during the virtual sessions. This is one of the benefits of having a launch during COVID that I think we learned from, and I think we have, if not perfected, continue to make these really excellent sessions that maybe they take all the learning all of us have had from teaching in a virtual environment. We also have in-person sessions, as I mentioned, at 2 PAS programs. We also have unique sessions that focus on, again, other ways to learn. And so we have a journal club, and this journal club, and these are usually done in the summer because we heard from the first cohort of participants, they wanted to be engaged year round and not really have a big gap between, if you will, a summer vacation. So we have journal clubs, and these have focused on inclusive excellence. And we also have a summer book club, and the participants picked the book this year. We're all reading that book, and we'll engage together to discuss it in August. We have, in addition to the curriculum, we have one-on-one coaching sessions. So each participant is partnered with a faculty coach, and the one-on-one coaching sessions take place in every sort of 6-month span of the 2-year program. And this is part of the curriculum in that a particular leadership topic is addressed through that one-on-one coaching. So there's often a self-assessment and the ability to sort of look at that self-assessment through a coaching conversation with your faculty member. There's also peer group coaching in the program. And so something that's very intentional is that we have sessions to help participants learn how to use a coaching approach. The peer group coaching, you are in a small group where you are working with peers that are often focused in projects in the same mission area where your project focus, whether that be education, research, community engagement, clinical, or again, a health equity type project. That peer group has a faculty person who's assigned to that small group, usually 2 to 3 participants. And during peer group coaching, you get an opportunity to apply the coaching skills that you've learned. And these coaching sessions are around advancing your work on your leadership project or initiative. Networking is also a very intentional aspect of the program, and we do that both through inviting sponsors to participate in sessions like the work in progress poster session that you'll hear about and the end of program presentations, as well as APA leaders, which the participants have very much appreciated. In addition, there's networking using with much appreciation to Jaspreet, who has really brought some of the technology to how our group interacts. And so we have a WhatsApp group. People communicate and engage through our WhatsApp group, in addition to engaging on our learning management system, which is Canvas. Other networking that happens, we all try to amplify what others are doing within the program. So one of the things was ensuring that everybody knew what presentations everybody had at PAS so they could support each other in that way. So as I mentioned, we do have this 2 different types of coaching, and just as a preemptive, we don't record our sessions. And the reason we don't record our sessions and really hope that everybody can block the time on their calendar, which is one of the reasons we have the call for applications and the selection process so early, so that those who need at least 3 months to block calendars can do so, is that we hope that not only the coaching conversations that happen, but also the small group work that we do is confidential, that there's constructive conversations and that participants really enter. And we do this in a very, actually, we do it all together. We kind of take a little setting the stage or organizing principles or how we're going to commit to each other, be accountable to each other, and really serve to have these conversations, have the ability to have these conversations be open and honest. We recognize that academics is a small world, pediatrics is a small world, but if leaders are struggling with different situations, that we don't want them to be afraid to bring up that situation for fear of there being some issue related to confidentiality. So coaching in the program, as I mentioned, is through faculty coaching the participants, through participants coaching each other. And so both the faculty and the participants engage in separate, but also the faculty and the participants together, professional development sessions about how to develop coaching as one of your leadership tools. Just as an example, these virtual sessions that begin in January, we've typically held them 3 to 5 Eastern time on Friday afternoons. We have a curriculum and an arc that we could show you, but we really focus in the first part of the program on leadership, leading yourself or thinking about yourself as a leader, and then move to thinking about topics that focus on leading others, and ultimately throughout thread leading change, because the leadership initiatives that people engage in during the program are really change management. These are just sample curricular topics. I will say that the other thing that the program has really tried to do is to respond to the needs of the participants. And so the participants have suggested and requested sessions. We have added sessions. We added a session, not surprisingly, for the last cohort about leading in challenging times or leading when there may be conflict involved. So we try to be responsive to not only new topics that come out, but things that people are experiencing while they're in the program. So what is this leadership project? We use the word leadership initiative because unlike the other scholars programs in the APA, this is not, does not have to be a scholarly project. There is not the expectation that you publish or present on this project. As an aside, I would be, I think, thrown out of my little group of educators and maybe the APA as well if I didn't say, boy, we hope you do, and you think about it. But I just want to let you know it's not a requirement. But we do want you to really think about a specific project that you will take on that enables you to learn as you apply what you're learning in the program and expand your leadership competency. So we want it to be a stretch, right? Something new that you will be doing or taking on this new initiative. We would encourage you to think about how this will best help you address an institutional need or an ask from the person who may be sponsoring you in the program, and how it will actually enable you to stretch and enhance your visibility as a leader. You will get lots of support, and participants have really accomplished some terrifically amazing things. There's a list of prior projects, and I'll show you a couple examples in the next slide. But we were wowed at this year's PAS for what was entitled a work in progress session to see how much work had been done, not just progress towards work. And really the project and the initiative becomes a foundation to also expand your network, because we work with you and all of the faculty in our sort of monthly faculty meetings. Think about who else may be helpful to particular participants. We help you identify collaborators and mentors as well. So just to let you know, people have done leadership initiatives that span all the missionaries. These are simply some examples, but just to show you that there's no specific topic area or focus that you need to think about, but really you can see from the title, so the really impressive scope of what people have taken on. We also recognize that some people take on projects that are not going to be completed even in 2 years. And so we help people identify what can be done in those early phases of their project work that enables them to accomplish all the things that we set out as goals for the program. So we do have a work in progress poster session. Again, it's at PAS. It's attended by actually alumni for the program. And as you see on the slide, we have a new Apple alumni group, which is being led by Dr. Benjamin Black and Dr. Rebecca Carter, who are alumni of the group. Or graduates of the group, and they are engaging alumni in a professional development ongoing series of the alumni's design. So that's another way that we've sort of built in networking, but the alumni were invited to the work in progress poster session, as were the APA leaders and the sponsors of each participant. And we have an end of program sort of project symposium as well, which is another intentional way for the participants to be highlighted. So if you're interested in being a faculty member, we do have monthly faculty meetings. You probably heard we do not have a static program. Here's the slide set that was done last time. Why don't you use the same thing and do the same thing? We try to work together, not only we usually co-teach those sessions, curricular sessions. People sign up for the sessions they'd like to do. We try to work with each of the faculty, right? Sort of pair up each of the faculty. So over time, we all get to learn from that experience of working with different people and people that may bring different perspectives into how the session might best be taught. The monthly faculty meetings also enable the people who are leading the next participant session to share how the other faculty will participate and ensure we're all on the same page and understand our role. We debrief during those sessions, not only about maybe participants' questions or needs, but also review the evaluations for the participants, which we take to heart and make changes in the moment based on those evaluations. We have a very quick, QR-based answer these 2-3 questions so that we can, again, get that information quickly and respond to it. And then the faculty, this is one of the things that I think may be unique about this program as well. The faculty also have professional development sessions. So in order to be prepared for a one-on-one coaching session on a particular curriculum topic, one faculty member really digs deep into that topic and prepares us all to think about how we will engage in that one-on-one conversation around that topic, not only to help ensure some consistency for the participants, but to ensure that we're learning, they're learning. Again, you can see that's a sort of fundamental aspect of the program. We also want to share that your sponsors, and we can talk about who the sponsors may be. We engaged them before the program started, after participants were accepted into the program, midway through the program, and as you have just heard, invited them to engage in different of the presentation sessions. So our goal is also to allow the sponsors actually to hear about the great work being done even by other participants in the program, as well as for them to be able to express the impact of what the participants are doing at their home institutions. So what's the buzz? Here's just some things and I didn't, just so you know, there was an application process. So you're going to see a quote from Dr. Black and Dr. Carter. They submitted quotes about the program. But that was well before their application and selection process, even though they said very, very wonderful things about the program. So I think, Dr. Black really looked at the real life impact of the program. Again, Dr. Chen, a first cohort, instrumental in helping her gain clarity in what she wanted to do, and how she wanted to express that it's a project not only done in the context of the program, but it really does live on. And I've continued to see the impact that this program has had, that she's created. And Dr. Carter talks about this being an opportunity to network and gain confidence in the day-to-day role that she had. And she's a division chief, as is Dr. Black. You can find out more. I know that Sonia already put the link. There's also a QR here. The application is hopefully not onerous. There's word limits for a purpose because we don't want this to be onerous, but we do want to get enough to learn about you and what you hope to achieve in the program to make sure it's a good fit. In our selection discussions, I will say that the word fit comes up most commonly. Not that the participants aren't incredibly qualified and impressive people. We have not had a shortage of that. But sometimes we have, again, wanted to be sure that, and often I know that Jaspreet and I last time actually met with applicants to learn more about them if there were questions that came up during the application process, to ensure that this was the program that would help them meet their goals. Okay, so I am going to stop so we can go to questions. And I think I may see a few things in the chat, but then we can open it wide up. But I'll first start by asking Dr. Loyal if I missed anything.
No, I think that was perfect, Mary Ellen. I also put in the chat that I put our emails in there if folks want to reach out to us, because I know this is a short amount of time, and we can provide some customized responses too if you feel like that would be helpful. But yeah, I think you covered everything.
And I didn't, because I had our emails on the last slide. So thank you for doing that. And I'm going to put, Sonia, I'm going to put yours down too. Okay. Okay. All right. So we'll open it up now.
Hi,
Hi,
everyone.
Martha.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Hi, everyone. I'm Martha Ulster. I'm a pediatric hospitalist at UCSF. I guess just to end the talk, I think you covered this a little bit, but and first off, this has been very helpful. When you think about kind of like who benefits the most as far as like applicants for the leadership program, what do you think like distinguishes people who thrive the most in the program or do have the most success?
So that's a great question. I'm going to start by saying I think the faculty is really engaged in ensuring everybody is successful. So that may sound, I don't mean that to sound like a platitude, because we have had participants who changed positions, changed institutions, changed projects, were perhaps struggling with what they needed to do as a leader beyond their leadership initiative. And so part of our sort of commitment to confidentiality is that as a faculty group, we bring to each other this is what's happening with this participant. Give a sort of a general context. Here's some strategies. Do you know anybody that might be helpful? Or do you know? When I think about success in the program, I think that while everybody, and this is a little different than the scholars programs, right? Where I can tell you everybody got a publication, the success of each individual participant, I would say, is measured a little differently. Somebody that transitions to a new position and is able to say, here's what I took or learned from, the program, and I was trying and then needed and now am pivoting in this way in my professional career. And the same would be true about the people who start projects and realize that they hit a roadblock, which may feel like, oh my gosh, now what am I going to do? I don't feel that participants come to us with like, well, what do I need to do now to graduate from the program? Right? They're really coming to us like, help me think about if this is not possible, what's the next step? But Jaspreet, and again, I don't mean that as a platitude because we don't measure by things like, again, like did they get a paper out of it? So I think the accomplishments are, do people feel they've really advanced? And when we look at our post-program evaluations, that's one of the things I think, seeing Rebecca's comments about like I was applying things as I was doing it day to day, I became, it helped me in my day job was also to me a great success. Jaspreet.
And Martha, your question was around how do the faculty ensure the success of the participants, or?
Sorry, no, I was thinking more about like when you think about the program and like selecting people for the leadership program, are there certain things you're looking for that fit as far as like who you think, is the most successful? I love the like iterative nature. I think that's brilliant, as that's what it should be, I think, as we hit roadblocks and try things out and like learn the culture and kind of try to situate ourselves. But I don't know if there's other things that you're looking for, I guess.
Yeah, I think Mary Ellen's points are all well taken. I also think about this as like there's a lot of resources for people who are early career faculty, and then the folks who are sort of mid-career, starting division chief roles, or other leadership positions. There's not as much of robust support. So it's less of like an outcome, but more of like that networking, that leadership experience, some didactics, and then the coaching part is, I think, really unique. And even though you're paired with one coach, we provide opportunities for you to work with other faculty in the program. So I think that's also really special. But it's really gives you a space to grow as a leader, and whatever that looks like for you, which I think it's different for different people.
And Martha, I'll just share with you, like I know many like Martha use coaching and work with learners. We really do it a little bit differently. So I've learned a lot. Again, I would say the faculty that participate in the program also say, like one of our former faculty came to one of our workshops at PAS that we adapted from the program. And that to me was like such a honor to have that person say, I didn't want to stop my learning. And I think that's what the alumni group, like they were like, I didn't want to stop my learning. We now have this sort of support group and network. I will say though, part of our early commitment to each other is that we'll be present, right? So we understand, people have vacations and we understand that people have, school graduations and things but I think the people that get the most come and are engaged. I will say that 100%.
Awesome. Thanks so much. I'm excited.
Yeah. Good. Other questions? Well, you can reach out to us. In the last application process, people did and asked more about would this work for a project or who's a sponsor. I will say your sponsor typically is your supervisor because they're the ones you also ask for the tuition. But there's also some strategy to picking your sponsor because this is somebody who, again, we hope you are meeting with regularly to keep them up to date and help to highlight really the leader that you are. Um, any questions about it, you can contact us. Again, the application for what we've tried to keep it brief, and we've heard from past participants that it is brief. Here's a question: how many participants are chosen again per cohort? So we have not set a specific number. We know how many are too much, honestly, because our first cohort, because of COVID, was combined, a combined sort of extended, it wasn't a combined cohort, but we extended the application and we feel that we have a sense of the right sort of number of faculty per participant. That's one of our primary things, almost like, teacher to learner or teacher to staff and get like we try to really balance that. So that's why we're also calling for faculty. And I haven't been able to tell faculty applicants the exact number either because we want to right size it. But there is a certain number, as you all know from your work, your day-to-day work, of people on Zoom, for example, where it's very difficult to engage, or people in a small group where it's very difficult for everybody to have a voice. And that's very important to us that everybody does have a voice and does have an opportunity to not only learn, but teach each other, if you will. So I'm again not trying to be cagey at all, but we kind of have a sense about the right, and it's in the teens. We're not looking for a cohort of 50. And we will, if there are people who are not able to be accepted this year, we will encourage you for the next year. Like again, we meet with the people that maybe we had questions about. I think I'm sorry, Lexi, did you have a question?
Oh, I was just going to say thank you for answering my question in the chat.
Oh, sure. Okay, sure. Yes, Jeremiah, there was a presentation and the recording will be sent to all the registrants as well as posted on the APA website. Thanks for your question. Okay, well, everybody have a terrific day. Thank you so much for joining. I know how busy everybody is. It's not only summer, but the beginning of the year. So we look forward to meeting you more through reading your applications and then working with you together in the program. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.